In this video, we are going to build an AI maintenance system that can be sold to property management companies, offices, hotels, anyone who uses a ticket system to manage their tasks. First, we will set up an AI voice agent that can gather information about maintenance issues, then trigger an automation flow. This flow will determine the priority of the request and create a ticket in a customer service system like Zendesk. We will also set up the same automation for handling requests that are coming in via email, so we don't have to worry about how we receive them. With this system, customer supports can save a lot of time and money by not having to rely on a human to handle these monotone tasks. We will use Vapi for the voice agent, Make.com for the automations, and we will integrate Zendesk into our flow. If you haven't heard about Zendesk before, it's a customer service platform where you can manage your tasks like in a to-do list. You can mark them completed, or you can read all the details about a specific issue. Let me show you how the conversation goes when I call the agent.
Hello, this is Eva. How may I assist you today?
Hey Eva, I'm calling because I would like to report an issue in my apartment.
Thank you for letting me know. I'll need a few more details to assist you. May I have your full name, please?
My name is John Smith.
Thank you, John. Now, could you please provide me with the details of the issue you'd like to report?
Yeah, so it looks like my toilet is clogged and the water is just flowing out everywhere in the bathroom.
Just to confirm, your name is John and you've reported a clogged toilet with water flowing out in the bathroom. Does that sound correct?
Yes, that is correct.
I've reported your issue to our maintenance team. They'll reach out to you shortly with updates. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
Nothing else, thank you Eva. When I open Zendesk, you can see that it inserted a ticket with the issue and also gave it a priority. You can also find the name of the requester and the address here. And you might have noticed that we didn't ask the caller for the address. To get that, we will use Google Sheets, which will function as a tenant database, so we can validate whether the caller have a property with us or not. If I open Google Sheets, you can see that I created a name column and an address column, so we will be able to get that based on the name the caller provided us. Let's try to do the same via email. I will paste an issue to report about a broken light bulb and hit send. Now if we go back to Zendesk, you will see that it created a new ticket and it also included the name, address and the entire body of the mail. And as always, I will give everything away for free, including the prompts and the automation flows. To get started, let's set up the voice agent in Vapi. Once you're logged in, create an assistant. I'm going to call it Eva, and you can select the blank template. When we have that, let's add the first message. Hello, this is Eva. How may I assist you today? Then I will paste the prompt that we are going to use. Feel free to pause the video if you want to copy it, but don't worry because I will also share it in the description. When we have that, let's select a nice voice. I like to use 11 Labs, but it doesn't matter which voice you pick. Now we can create a tool that will handle the request by clicking on New Tool. Leave the server URL empty for now. Click Next. The first property we will need to pass to the automation flow will be the name of the caller. The second will be the issue. For the description, let's say the issue the caller is reporting about. Finally, we will pass the issue details, which will be the description of the issue the user is calling about. Let's add all of the properties as required. Click on Next, and let's call the tool Report Issue. For the description, add this tool is responsible for reporting an issue to the support team by providing all the necessary information. Click Next, then Create. And don't forget to add the tool in the Functions tab. Now that we have the voice assistant, let's create a Make.com flow. So open Make.com and create a new scenario. Let's call it report issue with voice agent. For the first module, add the set multiple variables module to have some mock data. Later we will change it to a webhook so we can get the data from Vapi. The first variable will be name and the value will be John Smith. Then let's add an issue. The value will be broken light bulb. And for the third variable, let's add issue detail, which will be the light bulb in the kitchen is broken and I'm unable to cook because of that. Click save. And next, let's add the Google Sheets module. We need to select search rows. Let's connect with our account. And when you have that, select your spreadsheet where the data is located. Also add the sheet name. You can find it at the bottom of the sheet. Mine is sheet 1. For the filter, let's add the tenant's name and it should equal to the name from the set variable module. So this will validate whether we have that person in the database or not, and it will also give us the address of the caller. Click save and let's try to run it. Nice, we got the data. Next, let's set up a router because we want to let the caller know that there was a problem. For example, maybe the assistant misspelled the name, so we can redirect them to a real person. For the first route, I will add OpenAI, which will figure out the priority of the issue. And the second route will be a webhook response, so we can tell the caller about the error. We will set it up later when we have the webhook module at the beginning of the flow. Between the router and OpenAI, let's add the filter. I'm going to set the label to tenant found. The condition will be the total number of bundles from the Google Sheets should be greater than 0. Next, create a connection for OpenAI. If you don't have an API key, you can get one from platform.openai.com. And you need to paste the API key and organization ID to make a connection. Once you set it up, let's select GPT 3.5 and then we can add the prompt. For the role, select system and we have to assign a role first. So let's say you are a professional assistant responsible for classifying maintenance issues reported by tenants about a property. Your task is to assign one of the following priorities. Then let's specify the severity of the issues. The first one will be low. The issue is minor, does not significantly affect daily living, and can be addressed at a later time. The next one is normal. The issue impacts the tenant's comfort or convenience, but does not pose an immediate threat to safety or the property. It should be addressed in a reasonable time frame. And the third one is urgent. The issue poses a serious safety risk, causes significant disruption, or threatens the property and requires immediate attention. Let's also specify some rules. When determining the priority, consider health and safety risk to the tenant or others. damage to the property if not resolved immediately. And impact on the tenant's daily life. For example, access to essential utilities like water, gas, or electricity. Classify the issue and provide only the classification. Example input: water is leaking from the ceiling in the living room. And the example output will be urgent. Once we have that, let's set up the user prompt. The issue being reported, issue, and this will come from the first module we've set up. The next one is details, and this will also come from the same place, but we will change this when we will add the webhook. Then we can click on save and try it out. Cool, we received the severity of the reported issue. Now let's connect it with Zendesk so we can create a ticket in our system. Let's find the Zendesk module and we need to select create ticket. Let's add the connection name, Zendesk customer support. If you don't have a Zendesk account, you need to register on the platform. So if you go to zendesk.com, you can create an account. Once you are in, you will land on this page. Here we need to click on this cog icon. Then you will see an option to go to Admin Center. Let's click that. Then click on Apps and Integrations and select Zendesk API. Then let's select OAuth clients. And on the right side, click on Add OAuth client. The client name can be anything, I will call it Vemo Digital. And switch the type of client to confidential. For the redirect URLs, we need to add https www.integromat.com/OAuth/cb/Zendesk. Now let's copy the domain from the URL, so select this part and copy it. Then go back to make and paste it in the domain field. Now go back to Zendesk and copy the unique identifier. Paste it in the unique identifier field. Then go back to Zendesk and click on save. And it will give you a warning that the secret key will be only shown once, so copy that and paste it into Zendesk. Now we can click on save and you will see a pop-up. Here we can click allow. And now we have set up a connection between Make and Zendesk, so we can create tickets from the flow. Here the subject will be the issue from the first module. And select the address from Google Sheets. For the comment type, select plain. And the plain body will be tenant name from Google Sheets, address, and this will also come from Google Sheets. Description, and this will be the description of the issue, which will later come from the webhook, but for now it will come from the first module. Then we can scroll down and set the type to incident and set the priority to low. Now we can save it. I'm going to put a router between OpenAI and the Zendesk modules because we need to call different modules depending on the priority of the issue. So let's set up a filter for the first route. I'm going to call it low priority. And this will be true when the result from OpenAI equals to low. Let's clone the Zendesk module 2 more times and connect with the router. The second filter will be true if the result equals to normal. And the last one will run when it's urgent. Now let's change the priority for these two modules. The second one will be normal. And the third one will be urgent. Now let's try out if it works. It looks like it worked. We have the ticket about the broken light bulb. Now let's go back to make and switch the first module with a webhook. So create a custom webhook. Then copy the URL and go back to Vapi and paste it into the tools server URL. Click save. Now let's call the agent to see if the data goes through. We received the data, so let's change the name in the Google Sheets module. And we also need to change the values in Zendesk. So let's go through each of them and change the issue and the issue details values. Once we have that, let's set up a webhook response to the router so we can let the caller know if we ran into any issues. I'm going to paste the format the webhook response expects. And we need to change the tool call ID. It should come from the webhook. And the result will be we ran into an issue. Then we can clone this module and create another route. So let's try to call the voice agent again to see if everything works. Awesome, we configured the agent. Now let's do the same when we get a request via email. Let's create another scenario and let's call it report issue via email. The first module will be a custom mail hook. The way it works is when you receive an email, it will automatically forward it to a specific address. In this case, we will get the email address from this module, so it will always run when you receive an incoming email. Let's copy the address, and I'm using Gmail, so I'm going to forward emails from there. We need to select forwarding here. Then you need to add a forwarding address, so paste in the address you've copied from the mail hook. Then we need to authenticate our Gmail account, and it will send an authorization link to the mail hook, but don't forget to run the scenario beforehand. Once you receive the email, we need to copy the link from the email body and paste it into our browser. Then we can click confirm. Let's set up a Google Sheets module, and this will be exactly the same as in the previous flow. We need to search for rows again. Let's select the spreadsheet. And the tenant name should equal to the sender's name. Click save. And next let's add an OpenAI module. Select 3.5 turbo. For the role, select system, and let's create a prompt which will be very similar to the prompt which will be very similar to the one in the previous scenario. You are an assistant responsible for analyzing emails sent by tenants regarding property management. Determine the type of email. Identify if the email is about an issue. For example, a maintenance request, or another subject, for example, general inquiry or feedback. If the type is an issue, classify its priority based on the following. I'm going to paste this from the module we've set up earlier. The only difference will be the return format, because here we need to return a JSON. Return the classification and type in a JSON format with the following structure. And let's create an object. The first key will be the type, which can be an issue or other. And the second one will be priority, which can be low, normal, or urgent. Let's also add the user prompt. Here is the incoming email. Subject. This will be the subject coming from the mail hook. And the content is also coming from the mail hook. We need to select the text. Now we can click on save and let's send another email. After we received the email, you can see that OpenAI determined the priority and it gave us a JSON formatted response. But to be able to work with it, we need to parse it. So let's add the parse JSON module. And for the data structure, I'm going to paste the response from OpenAI. Once we have that, let's add the result in the JSON string field. And the result will come from OpenAI. Next, we need to create the ticket in Zendesk in case the incoming email is trying to report an issue. So let's add the router. And between the JSON module and the router, let's add the filter. The label will be isIssue. And for the condition, select the type from the JSON module, and it should equal to issue. So it will only proceed with the ticket creation when we receive an issue request. And finally, we need to add 3 Zendesk modules after the router so we can create tickets according to the classification. Exactly like we did for the previous flow. For the subject, I'm going to select subject and the sender name from the mail hook. The comment type will be plain. The plain body will be name. Let's insert the sender's name. Email. This will be the sender's email address. Property address. This will come from Google Sheets. And I'm going to insert the whole text that is coming from the email. Let's scroll down a little bit. The type will be incident and set the priority to low. Click on save and let's clone this module and change the priority for each. The second one will be normal. Click save. And the third one will be urgent. Let's try if it worked, so let's send an email again. Awesome, it worked. We can see that the ticket was created and we have all the necessary information. We have the sender's name, email address, the sender's address, and the body of the email. And that's it. That should give you a decent starting point on how to develop your own customer support system. Obviously, you can add more features like integrating it with a booking calendar or using it as a WhatsApp chatbot. There are countless possibilities to make it even better and develop your own system. As I mentioned before, I will provide all the resources in the description and feel free to reach out to me if you run into any issues when trying to implement them. And that's it for today. If you would like to see more step-by-step tutorials, subscribe to the channel. I try to come up with projects that you can benefit from and brings a lot of value either by selling them or using them in your own business. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video.